So, what makes a good sporty pair of earbuds? Now granted, as you can probably tell from my incredibly trim physique, I'm not necessarily the most qualified person for this, but I've had a run before. I think I can give this a crack. You need something with decent sound, because exercising with music that sounds shit is not really that inspiring. They need to be lightweight as to not cause discomfort while you're running and bobbing about, and they need to be durable, basically more able to withstand the accelerated wear and tear of exercising. So to hear that Master Dynamic are taking a swing at this is quite encouraging, especially more so when they announced these, the Master Dynamic MW08 Sport. Now, I've already reviewed the original MW08, which you can watch by clicking the eye above my head. And while yes, I did call them the best sounding earbuds that I've ever used, there were some downsides, namely that they were far too heavy for any kind of exercise. So that means we've got two questions to answer here. Are these now good for exercise, and has Master Dynamic ensured that the sound is just as good? And given the whopping price tag of £329 or $349, are they worth that investment? Let's get into it. Hello and welcome to New Rising Media, your home of hands-on reviews and gloves-off opinions about tech and gaming. I'm Jason England, all-round nerd journalist, and I thank you right there for taking the time out of your busy day to check out this video. Cheers. Right, the Master Dynamic MW08 Sport. Let's get these out of the box and see what we're playing with here. Very similar unboxing experience to the original MW08. Your case up top with all of your standard silicone fitting tips, and then some pretty interesting memory foam ones as well. That should be far better for a good fit. Moving on further down, we've got all of your pairing instructions, guides, all that gubbins. USB-C to USB-C charging cable, alongside a USB-C to USB-A converter. And last but not least, your Master Dynamic MW08 Sport earbuds in the flesh. Sturdy hinge as per usual, and definitely a lot lighter. Let's talk about this and more by diving into some specs, shall we? So, identical to the MW08, these feature 11mm beryllium drivers, alongside 6 microphones for call quality, active noise cancellation, IPX5 water resistance, and Bluetooth 5.2. So what are the differences, I hear you ask? Well, lovely viewer, they come in the case and the materials used to build these. You see the case has wireless charging built into it, and the case is now made from a black Kevlar, which makes these so much lighter. And the buds themselves are made from a sapphire glass rather than the far heavier ceramic material used on the MW08. What this means in numbers is that the buds are 8.6 grams and the case is 56 grams. This is down from 9 grams and 81 grams respectively on the previous model. Now the case difference is dramatic. The earbud difference is a lot smaller, but when it comes to wearables like true wireless earbuds, the smallest weight reductions can make the biggest of differences. And to do this, surprisingly, the battery is not any smaller in these. Master Dynamic claim you can get 12 hours of listening time from these, extended by an additional 30 hours with the case to go all the way up to 42 hours, so should be great for an all-day use. But specs are just that, aren't they, ladies and gentlemen? They are specs, and you know where I'm going with this. It's time to put these to the test. We already know that these are going to sound pretty good, but are they good for exercise? I'm gonna have to go out and exercise, aren't I? God help me, I'll put these through the paces and I'll get back to you in about a week's time, where I'll cut now to some of the more sweaty footage of me running around testing these. Enjoy.
Oh my god, it's only been 1 kilometre. How on earth am I this unfit? Also, this is a chance for me to show you what the So that's what I was trying to say there, but failed miserably. This is how the microphones sound on the MW08 Sport. Pretty clear, blocks out all of the nature noises around me. They're pretty good. You'll come back to me about wearability later on in the video.
Well, a week has passed and I've gone through another Justin Bieber-esque hair transformation, as someone pointed out in the comments of a previous video. And it's fair to say that I've put these through a lot, including some rather embarrassing attempts at what most people seem to call exercise. So do these fit the bill? Not exactly. Let me go ahead and try and explain why. Now, normally I'd start these reviews with a bit about the hardware and software, but I'm gonna have to flip the review around to kind of talk about the priorities in a different order. So let's get a few fast categories out of the way, such as sound quality. The MW08 Sports are identical in sound quality to the MW08. They still are the best sounding earbuds I've ever used. They offer a warmer, more detailed mix than the Nothing Ear ones. You can watch my review of these over on Laptop Mag's YouTube channel. Click the eye above my head to watch that. They have better noise cancellation than the Soundcore Liberty Air 2 Pros. You know where to go for that. And have a far more involved soundstage than the AirPods Pro. If you want a more in-depth description of what the 11mm beryllium drivers can do, then head on back to my MW08 review, because as I said at the top, they are completely identical. The fact that they don't offer a customizable EQ in their app shows the confidence that Master Dynamic have behind their own tuning, and to their credit, they've absolutely smashed it. And while we're talking about it, the app is easy to use. You can see the battery life of your earbuds in your case, and it gives you noise cancellation switches. Pretty simple. Sound-wise, all in all, you will not be disappointed. Now, how about call quality? Because the MW08s were pretty damn good at this. And the same as the sound, just as you expected, the Sporty Spice variant is also just as good. Voice quality is decent, and the 6 microphones do a pretty damn good job making you loud and clear to the person on the other end. I didn't have to do the whole hullabaloo of switching back to my phone if somebody didn't hear me or sounded like I was underwater at all with these. Plus, there wasn't any cutout either, which is achieved by the external antenna with Bluetooth 5.2. There were no breaks, even when I left my phone in here and went 20 meters away to the other end of the flat. Through all the different walls of all the different rooms, I was still able to continue my call, and there was no breakups in any of my music. But at this price point, can we start talking about a lack of multi-point Bluetooth? If you're going to pay 330 quid for a pair of earbuds, I'd want the option to be able to connect to multiple devices on it too. Same as the MW08s. Let's ramble through this and let me confirm that the battery life on the MW08 Sport is absolutely stellar. I hit the promised 10 hours listening time with noise cancellation on, and the case actually managed to get me to 32 hours. The fast charging to 100% in 60 minutes was great to have when I finally managed to drain the battery life on these, but chances are, given the sheer capacity of them, you will have what I call worry-free battery life. I can make it through an entire day with these connected to my laptop, listening to podcasts and lo-fi all day, going on 2 different hour-long video meetings, taking multiple calls throughout, and then repairing these to my iPhone to then go for a bit of a walk. Top marks all around. And now for where we're going to go slightly off course and cater the review around what these are trying to do. They're trying to be good premium workout buds, so let's put that to the test with wearability. You see, the original MW08s were okay, but they were quite a bit heavy and they didn't necessarily have the snug support to be good for anything more than a nice walk around the block. So these need to be far more wearable than their heavier brother. Let's start with the positives. This Kevlar coated case is lovely, far more lighter and a hell of a lot more scratch resistant. I found myself not worrying about having these in my pocket at all compared to the stainless steel ones of before. And the wider selection of ear tip sizes, including the 2 memory foam ones, are great to have. This ensures a more snug fit, reducing the chances of them falling out while you're doing your exercising. And that, in terms of these being a good pair of sport earbuds, is where the positives end. You see, I did a little bit of testing. I tried to figure out what makes a good pair of earbuds. So as you saw before, I've got all these different buds. I've got plenty others that I've been reviewing. I've been going out for a couple of runs, and I've noticed that there is a golden number, 6 grams or less, that made a pair of earbuds comfortable enough for me to wear that didn't cause any fatigue after a short period of time. They didn't put any downward pressure on your lugs, and they don't work against the seal that is formed in your ear hole while you're jostling about.
Well, while it's true that Master Dynamic have done all this stuff, they've reduced the weight of the earbuds. They've added more tips, including a couple of foam ones that are really quite comfortable, and they're good for walking. They're a lot better for walking than the MW08s, but when you start running, it's just not good enough. They're still too heavy. They still bob up and down. They could have done with the wingtips like they have with the MW07, so like giving it a more secure fit when you're running, but because of the weight, they quite easily become loose. if you're doing anything more strenuous and bobbing about like running. So while I appreciate that maybe for stuff like yoga or stuff like lifting, the sports could work, I'd want something at this price to work for any kind of sport, and these just don't. They're not that great for working out.
Though they are better buds for walking and more stationary exercise than the MW08s, for sure, that's about it. And it's disappointing that for a pair of buds with the word sport in the name, that these don't show a lot of promise as sports buds. For proper good premium workout earphones, I'd probably point you in the direction of Bang & Olufsen's Beoplay E8 Sport. They are fully waterproof, which these are not, significantly lighter, and as you can expect from anything with B&O on it, the sound quality is pretty good. So what does all of this mean for the MW08 Sport? Because sure, they are just as good as the MW08 and also better thanks to the additional features, but it has a bit of an identity crisis. That weight is still not good for working out, and given that you're promoting these as fitness focused earbuds, and they're not good for fitness, means that they become very difficult to recommend. And on top of that, the price has gone up by 50 quid. I'm sorry, but that is just bonkers. Let me explain to you what you get for that extra investment. You get a Kevlar case, you get a lighter construction thanks to the differences of materials used here, and you get wireless charging. That's it. If you feel that is worth the money, you're not in the market for anything with a more precise focus, and your heart is set on Master Dynamic, you'll love them. You'll really enjoy them. Like, I'm not denying the attention to detail, the awesome sound quality, the great call quality, and the crazy long battery life on these, but I don't think a lighter construction and wireless charging is worth another £50. At least with the MW08, the price was a little bit more palatable because of the audience they went for. They went for audiophiles that had no interest in a fitness focus, just buds that sounded really, really fucking good. Whereas these feel like just a bit of a stretch. They feel a bit lost in the lineup. And if you need something more fitness focused, I would look elsewhere. But you know me, I don't want to leave this on a bum note. So let me tell you what my dream would be. Yes, I dream in earbuds now. You might notice I review a lot of them. I'd make the case and the earbuds out of plastic. That will in turn dramatically reduce the weight and also dramatically reduce the cost. You can keep the same drivers in here, the same noise cancellation, and hell, maybe reduce the battery life, because while the battery life is one of the big strengths here, 10 hours, you're going to be hard pushed to try and drain that in one day. And to put a number on it, I'd be more than happy with 6 to 7 hours of listening time. And in turn, that reduction of battery capacity means that the weight can be brought down as well, underneath that 6 gram threshold, and then charge between 150 and 180 pounds for it. Something like that would both be far greater for fitness and have a far wider audience, and I would buy a pair of those in a heartbeat. You've made 2 luxury tier pairs of earbuds. One pair that is very clearly great, give or take a couple of problems, and one pair that has lost its way. I ask you, please make something for the rest of us, and you will in turn make something that fitness fanatics love. And that's it. Thank you so very much. I'll put the script away because I just wanted to say from the bottom of my heart, it means the world that you would all continue to watch these videos. I know I've been pretty sporadic, I've been here, there and everywhere, but the fact I still get subscribers and the fact I still get to talk to some of you lovely people in the comments, it means the world. So I'm definitely going to try and get back on a bit more of a schedule. And if you will like that and have any ideas for what you want me to review, or if you've got any thoughts on the MW08 Sport, go ahead and let me know in the comments. And as always, likes if you enjoyed the video, subs if you loved it, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.